AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
What's up? Yes! We're here. Yes! Welcome to the violence! Welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. This is the AFTERBUZZ TV after show for The Walking Dead, Season 6, Episode 12. Not tomorrow yet. What an awesomely violent 80s episode, guys.
So good.
Loved it.
Yeah.
So good.
Straight out of the 1980s.
So good.
I'm your host, Ben Bateman. This is my wonderful panel and my brand new, if you guys might not know him yet, our brand new social media correspondent.
I don't even know what camera to look at right now. I'm so excited. Oh, here we go. Hey guys, I've moved from the table to the computer and the couch. I'm just saying, you know, up my game.
You remind me of like Emilio Estevez in Mission Impossible. You're like,
I'll
got
take
the
that.
Headset.
I'll take that.
In
I'll
all
take that.
5 minutes
So I'm
of
reading
Mission
all your comments. So put all your comments right now because I will read them on the show today.
Yes.
Seriously.
Let's go. We're gonna go backwards. We have a special guest.
Hey.
Matt Raub.
Hi, that's me. Hi, everybody.
Now, Matt, you have a Walking Dead. Right, you're involved. You're a huge fan.
Yeah. So back before after shows were a thing, I was with a network called This Week In, and we were like, hey, let's sit around and talk about Walking Dead because we're all big zombie fans. And it was called This Week in Walking Dead, and it was a thing for a while on iTunes and YouTube, and that was me. And ever since, I've just kind of been around the internet. You see me now at Smosh Games, Unpopular Kids. So yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Welcome. We're so happy to have you.
Thanks, man.
And we have Joyce Ajouri, the beautiful Joyce Ajouri.
Hello, hello. Glad to be back. Not going to choke today. Fingers crossed.
You were fine last week.
Oh my god, I was so embarrassed, but it's fine. It's not as bad as I'm sure.
The fans were so happy to have a woman. They were so happy there was a woman in the room. It was like we dodged.
Glad I could provide that womanly touch to the show.
Yeah, exactly. Feminine touch. You're like the Carle of the group. They bake us some cookies, except with pistachios and.
I'll do that next week.
Yeah. Oh really?
I will
Beets?
bring cookies.
Bring some cookies.
No beats.
I won't cook with beets, but I'll make some bomb ass cookies.
Just make sure they're red.
Beets and
They
acorns.
gotta be red.
Beets and
Why?
acorns. That's what it was.
They gotta be red.
And last
For
but
the
not
show.
least, we have John Carle.
Hi guys, I've been drinking for the last hour and a half.
Excellent. We haven't, but he's by himself.
Just in the corner.
Yeah, it's awkward.
got a problem.
I do want to point out, normally you introduce us as like your beautiful panel, and Matt's the only difference this week, and you didn't call us that. Are you trying to say something?
It's because I'm not
fine.
there on the table.
That's fair.
I got
what it is.
distracted.
So many
guys.
changes. I
It's the
can't.
beard.
I
Does
can't.
Whiskey and waffles. You missed your cue. What happened? I'm so excited.
I messed up.
All right. Well, we'll have
It's
John
the
talk about whiskey and
drinking.
waffles later. I'm Ben Bateman. I'm a host. I love Walking Dead. Let's talk about that show and the episode. But before we do, let's talk about iTunes and Twitter. You guys obviously can follow any one of us on Twitter. You can comment on the YouTube comments. Let us know your thoughts. And, of course, find us on iTunes. Rate, review, all that. It helps us keep the lights on and do the show. Let's get into the episode, guys.
Yeah.
Do it.
So good.
We
Number
need a
one.
synth. I think we need a synth background in order to
Yeah.
do this episode.
Like that, we need like the theme from Terminator 1. though,
Exactly.
when it was
yeah.
really tremolo
Wow,
and like
yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Just bright neons everywhere.
Yeah.
That was this episode. It's like they remembered the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said earlier, it reminded me of Manhunter meeting
Yeah.
Drive.
Yeah.
And it was all about relationships. I felt like every group, it was all about the relationship for this particular episode.
Totally agree.
Well, they worked really well together tonight. I mean, like, you know, I guess we're recapping our opinions, so I'll just throw mine in there. Yeah, I agree. Like, the group as a whole, like, they had something to fight and to, like, they had a purpose today, which made it really good to watch.
Yeah, they were proactive and not just reactionary to the circumstance. They're like, let's go out there and do this and do it the right way.
And we got right into it. Like I sort of felt like they were going to start talking about the plan, and then it was going to take 3 episodes to execute.
Right.
I was surprised they just got straight into
They
it.
went right into it, yeah.
It's almost like
This
they're
show needed
lulling
it,
us.
though.
Yeah.
A sense of security. It's weird.
Yeah.
So I want to start with the relationships, like you mentioned, because that seemed to be this episode. They kind of dangled like a lot of carrots. Like, let's give you 3 minutes with these 2 characters. Let's give you 3 minutes here. So we'll start with Tara and Denise. We really got. She said she loved her, which she was covering up because she had killed people and didn't want to
But
talk
she's
about
still
it.
telling the truth.
Right, she does love
She
her.
did still love her.
So,
Yeah, and so the actress that plays Tara, we're all like pretty much right. She's pregnant, so
Yeah.
they're showing from there up now. right?
Two quarters now. It's what it is. It's no longer a 3/4 shot.
They're doing a good job. I was a little confused because the television that we watched on had like a strange aspect ratio thing going on where the edges of the screen were warping.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
And so it would like kind of pan. It would be like Tara's face got really wide for a second. I was like, is it really? I'm not sure what's going on. But I like their relationship, the two of them, a lot. I'm a fan, actually.
Yeah,
It's
no, me
very
too.
cute.
I think they have like a cool kind of fun positivity. Not everyone is so doom and gloom, which it feels like everyone else in the cast is like it's all awful.
And they don't have
Everything's
any
terrible.
issues. They
Yeah,
don't have
everything's
any
good.
issues.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I mean,
There's The
hopefully.
Walking Dead. Not
Well,
yet.
I mean, they're both still alive, so that's a positive. So
For now.
I thought they did a great job with this episode with really putting us in these situations where these very, very traditional, predictable kind of interactions happen between people. And while in the past it's felt like a little soap opera-ish going through this sort of stuff, we're so familiar with these characters now, and we're so familiar with death and the high stakes. It's like, it doesn't feel like we're in new territory anymore. Every day of the week, it's like, yeah, we might just die. Like, that's how it is. We protect ourselves. So many of the interactions with these characters, I felt like there was an added, or maybe the weight that used to be there it wasn't quite as heavy. It all felt like just very real personal interaction.
which is weird because this week has so much at stake because they're going into a fight. Like, it's not like they're just reacting to walkers hitting the wall.
Yeah.
They are going into a fight where, in theory, not everybody should be walking out of that.
Well, not only are they going into the fight, they're creating it.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that wasn't supposed to happen, but they're making it happen before it happens to them.
The thing that's intriguing in what they've been doing is, like, I don't think Rick or anyone in the camp really knows how awful Negan is. And sure, some of the diehards know. We all know how awful it can be. So we're all having that gloom and doom that we're giving them. But they're all kind of going in like, we've been in fights. We've done conflict. Come on.
But they
we
also
got this.
they also keep getting told that, like, oh, Negan has nothing on you.
Yeah,
Like,
that
you
was a
guys
great
got
line.
this. Like,
Yeah.
they really have no idea.
Which is great. They're setting us up for the most brutal and tragic failure of our expectations that could ever happen.
Yeah.
Which we hope for.
Yeah. So if you don't know, I mean, like the whoever is, you need to watch the last episode of the season. Like,
Yes.
Sure, absolutely.
And it will trend. It'll be insane.
And also, according to Dave G, who's on our feed right now, he said that Tara said, the character Tara, or the actress who plays Tara, said she was 9 months pregnant when she was filming this episode.
Yeah.
9 months? Damn.
9 months.
That's
9
commitment.
months.
9
That's-
months.
Damn.
If that's true, that's some serious stuff because she looks good.
Yeah, she does. She does. I mean, it was only.
I wouldn't have guessed 9 months.
Slightly noticeable, but like, but barely.
I think that was just our TV making everybody's face wider.
Everyone looks wider.
It's fine.
I think so too. All right, let's get into a much, much, much more intense interaction. Abraham and Rosita, and then Eugene. Was he eating a piece of pizza?
I don't know.
No, the cookie.
Oh, the cookie. He was
That's
eating a cookie.
delicious beet
Like,
cookie.
where'd they
The
get the
beet
pizza
cookie.
from?
Shoot, it just hit me for a second. Pizza.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I love that because Abraham has just proven why he is the king of metaphors.
Oh, he's the
Oh
best.
my god, that was
First
so
off,
funny.
why are dingleberries brown? It's like
That's
That's
the
the
one
way
question I'm
shit
walking away.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and,
Why are they? I guess it's a dietary thing, really. Right?
I
mean, yeah, it is.
I wanted to write all of the lines down in that interaction here. So, like, the wild Embers run line, and then she says, why? And he just says, it happens. And then the best line, he says, when I met you, I thought you were the last one on
Aw.
Earth. You're not. Whoa! Just like,
that was a hit.
drop the mic.
That is a hit. As a girl, I was like, oh, that would devastate me.
I
Especially,
started laughing. I'm horrible.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, poor Rosita, she didn't see it coming. That's why it's, I mean, I guess it's
quite a
kinda
thing to
funny in
say.
that
Yeah,
sense.
it's intense. It was intense, but I think
It was,
I don't know. I feel like when in this show, as soon as someone starts to hook up or is getting close to a romantic involvement, that's you kind of like as a fan, you're like dead, totally dead.
Dead.
So the
That's
fact
true.
that he broke up with someone was like, oh, thank God, Abraham's alive for another week. We can
Yeah.
survive. It's okay.
Yeah, maybe, or who
Double
knows?
dead.
Maybe now he's gonna have someone with Sasha, and then he'll die.
I kind of like the idea of him now that he ended everything and will go after Sasha. She'll be like, nah. Like,
Right.
she never
Yeah,
really
that-
reciprocated.
No.
Exactly. Like
No, she turned it
there's
down.
no confirmation that there's anything that's going to happen between the two
Yeah.
of them. I mean, she was super friend zoning him when she was like, "Peace, dude." She did
I
that whole
took
peace
my
sign thing.
other.
I
yeah.
love the friend zoning right there that you just said.
It is. It's so friend
It's true.
zone.
It's true. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, there's so much, like we said, relationship focus right now that they're not going to do two relationships right now. They're not going to focus on Abraham and Sasha. We already got. We're still getting over Rick and Michonne. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So they're not going to do two right
Yeah.
now. So you know, it is what it is.
Which was very absent in this episode too.
Yeah.
We were
Yes.
commenting on that.
Really gave us any. I do think that we keep referencing it, but I do think that the Eugene Rosita thing is definitely coming, and they keep hinting at it, and it's definitely on its way.
Weird thing.
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. I just can feel it. Like it's the ultimate. Like, okay, if the guy says to me, "You're not the last one on Earth," who would be the ultimate fuck you? Who would it be?
Literally.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
according
totally
to
gonna be revenge
Mr.
sex.
Ashan Gold, Rosita will kill Sasha. So
Whoa.
that's a serious statement.
I
right
don't
there.
know.
I feel like Rosita's better than that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Hell hath no
I don't
fury.
think that'll happen.
I don't know. She could have gotten away with a stray bullet in this or something like that. I don't think she'll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
That's intense,
he's not
though.
the last man on Earth, so she.
Or
could-
is he?
Or is he?
No, he's not.
I really
No,
like.
he's
The
definitely
last
not.
ginger on Earth, maybe. I think that's it.
I really liked Rosita's interaction with Carle when they were out by the camper, and she was pissed. She was clearly bitter, and it's like, I don't know if you guys have ever been in like let's just say a group at school or like a work group, something where there's like clearly a difference of opinion, and you kind of want to relate to everybody, like you're all on the same page. You start like passionately selling an opinion, maybe you're complaining about somebody else in the group, and the person's just kind of like not on the same page as you. They're kind of feeling like, I mean, I don't know, but he's entitled to his opinion, and you're just, why are you being so difficult? And you just like fill on your own, and like I totally got that. I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
that's a real thing that really happens.
Like Rosita was looking for an outlet, and she just wasn't.
Yeah,
she
she
wasn't getting what she
shutting her
wanted.
down.
Yeah.
Smart writing. That's very smart writing.
Yeah.
You know, scenes like that, they're so like obvious.
Yeah.
So then Carole and Tobin, right? That's the other. That's
That's
our
the
other.
other
Yeah.
big one.
It's about damn time Carole got some.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it? I see. I immediately when they kissed, I was like, "Oh, Daryl, no." I was still holding out.
Whatever happened with
I
that?
don't know. I thought it was
Listen,
just
they
kind of an
teased us for a
unspoken
while with
thing.
that,
Yeah.
but that
I
was
never-
not. I gave up on that a long time ago.
I was holding out.
I
never
never
thought.
thought.
Carol
I never
needs
thought they were
love. You
gonna
know
get
what?
together.
Carol is such a badass right now. She needs someone. I feel like Tobin kind of balances her. They shared the cigarette.
Right.
He flirted with her about the cigarette.
Who
You know,
is Tobin? Come on.
He's
You know
going
what,
to
but-
die. He's
guy-
absolutely going to die from that.
He
and
has
he's an
to.
older guy. You know what I'm saying? Daryl's a little bit younger than her. She needs a.
Is he really?
With the
Yeah.
Daryl
I
stuff,
think so.
he's
Yeah, I
younger.
think he's younger than her.
I
I'd
always-
say so.
It's close.
I always got the sense with the Daryl stuff that when it was happening, it was like it was kind of weird because it was halfway like a little romantic and it was halfway like a mother figure. Like you didn't have a mom and she kind of wanted to take care of him.
He is from the South.
Daryl.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I saw it. I saw it as
all
because
from
of
the
how
South.
awful her ex was. She
Right.
saw how awful he was, but he was also a better version of that. So I always saw it like that. Like
Oh, okay.
she sees the good in this rugged bad guy, which realistically he's not. He's the best hero on the show. So like, okay, this makes so much sense. And they had a great ship name. It was there. It's just Carol. It was there.
It was Carol with a
There was
Y.
no thought.
Yeah.
It was just there. It worked.
Well, the last time the two of them had like one of those like sort of weird interactions was when they were standing out. He was standing outside the house in Alexandria, right? And they just had that awkward thing where he said something like, "No, we have to just fit in here." Or was it she who said that? I can't remember. I think it was last season.
Yeah.
But it was the last time the two of them talked, and I was like, "Oh, this is a little weird. Like we haven't seen the two of these guys have like a one-on-one in a little while." And I was
Yeah.
kind of reminded, what happened to that?
I don't know. Maybe they just got bored with it.
Yeah.
They're just like, there's no point.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're gonna kill off Daryl and they didn't want to do that to her.
No.
Well, let's talk Tobin because that's really what
If,
he's
if he
so
goes,
dead.
they're gonna do that to her.
Yeah.
He's so dead.
Did we see Tobin coming? I never saw that coming.
No.
No.
I've been predicting Tobin's going to die for a few weeks.
I'm gonna be honest
Carol.
with you. The reason that they are focusing in on him having a relationship, I think he's going to be dead.
He has to be.
You know what I mean?
There's no other
Because
reason.
he didn't have. I mean, he's popped up throughout the seasons, you know, kind of periodically. But I feel like this time, now that they're focusing in on him and Carol, it's over for him. It's a wrap.
What if it's the other way around? What if Carol goes?
No, we can't lose
keep
Carol.
Tobin.
It's not time for Carol to. She's
I
gone.
mean-
Put on
We
blood.
can't lose Carol.
Tobin could go later.
Okay, quick segue before we continue into the Morgan being another idiot like he always is on the show conversation. What's the top 5 least killable characters on this show in order? Rick is the number 1 least killable.
Rick.
Carl's number 2.
Carle is the
I
least
don't think
killable?
Carl's number 2.
Yeah.
No?
I think that Carl's death is just a strengthening point for Rick. So if they ever do it, that's when they send Rick over. That is a plot twist for him, and that makes him go nuts. Because we've kind of seen him. He went super mad last season, and now this season he's almost like jokingly crazy. He's
Yeah,
like,
I
what?
agree.
Covered in blood last week?
Yeah.
I feel like if they kill Carl, that's it. Done.
No, we're not losing Carl.
I feel
Off
like
the rails.
The baby.
I think in a lot. Oh, you think the baby is less
You
killable?
were just
my
a horrible person.
No, I said you can't. I'm saying you
can't.
cannot
Oh,
kill.
okay, all right.
No, I'm not Steven.
I don't think they'll kill Maggie.
I was
Steven
gonna
just
say
muted me.
to me actually it goes Rick I think I might even put Maggie or Carle as the number 2 because Maggie is such a pillar of the show. She's so important to keep around. You don't gain much by killing Maggie.
She's got a baby in her womb.
She's like
we're not gonna kill her.
She's hoped for the whole show right now.
Exactly.
She's gonna have to be on the sidelines. For
She's
a while.
lost everything too.
Yeah.
Like she has to be the one that makes it out of all
And
that.
if like people are predicting that Glenn is gonna die soon, like if Maggie goes, what's the point? Like if she goes too, like
we're just gonna kill ourselves.
What does that mean?
Maybe Michonne, but I really think that Carle is a near unkillable character. I think she's nearly unkillable. Carle has had the most incredible transformation of any character in the whole show. She's become the most like intelligent fan favorite character because how often do you see like a middle-aged woman be Rambo on a show?
That's true.
And she's like she's straight up gone from being the like battered housewife to actually just almost the toughest character on the whole show.
Well, according to the feed, the 4 that are predicted to survive are Rick, Carle, Michonne, and Maggie.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
I would agree with that
so
too.
everyone is just buying into Derrial dying.
I mean, that
would put Carle in the top 5 because that was 4. So I asked the 5.
Okay.
I would agree that's the 5.
That's fair.
I think you can kill Judith before you can kill.
You're a
anyone else.
terrible person.
I'm not saying that you will. I'm just saying like if Judith was to die in like a freak accident, it would push Rick over the edge, but not in the same way that Carle would push him over the edge.
Yes, agreed. I can't imagine. I guess Derrial could die. I just can't accept that.
Well, I read an article, and I think you read the same article, Ben, that the predictions are before the season's over is that Derrial will die.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the case.
I think it was
because I love him.
Like
but
when we finished watching the show tonight, I forgot which one of you said it, but it's like he hasn't really contributed the way he used to. So he's not really like a purposeful character right now, or he's not really adding anything to the group. So there's a good chance, like if he goes, like it really wouldn't hurt the progress that they're making now.
According to Dave G, Derrial is toast.
Ooh,
quote.
Delicious toast.
I think
Quote. I don't know. I feel like there are so many Hot Topic shirts that insinuate a riot that would happen if they kill off Derrial, which I'm now in fear of. I don't want a riot.
It will happen.
Especially in Hot Topics, because that's where we buy Funko Pops.
Yeah, exactly.
I need that place.
I don't think you could actually like the characters that have been like predicted based on conversation, forums, and all that. You've got Derrial by the season, by the way.
Sure.
Derrial, Glenn, Abraham.
Abraham.
Seems like now even people are suggesting that possibly Tobin could die. It seems like possibly Tara could die.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of characters to kill off in one season. I think maybe 2.
But I don't
Maybe
think Tobin's a major character.
Yeah, his death could happen next episode and nobody will care.
He's not I don't think that people are so heartfelt about Tobin. I think that they are trying to create a storyline for him right now, but I don't think that people would lose any sleep over him dying.
I'm just heartfelt about him and shipping him and Carle. Like I don't care about Tobin. I have no link or like emotional attachment to him. But
You're just happy for Carle.
I'm just happy for Carle. When was the last time she kissed a man?
So is their ship Karen, but you would like Karin, like Carin?
Toral.
Toral?
Like Toral.
Carbon.
Carbon is good.
Carbon.
Carbon is interesting.
Put that on the internet so we own it.
I feel
now,
like
Derek.
it's just giving them storylines because there's now I'm awful
ship
with
Carbon.
It's taken 6 years for me to remember some of these names. So some of the new characters. So there's Dreadlocks.
That's Heath.
Heath. Right. There's Scout guy. He was the one who went out. He was
Jesus?
No, not Jesus. He was. He's part of the group.
Aaron.
It's Aaron. Okay, so Aaron.
Ross Marquardt.
And Tobin.
And then there's Spencer.
And then Spencer.
And
Okay.
Denise.
That's it. Those are the main 4 that we've really seen.
Denise, because most of the other ones in Alexandria that were fairly major all died now.
Yeah,
everybody
I feel
else's
like
name
if they're important, they were in the church in this episode.
When they were let's move into that scene because so in that scene in the church, something you pointed out, John, was that it was almost entirely main characters.
It was only the known group that was in there. Really,
good point. That's a great point.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. There was all the characters we mentioned. I wish I had the screen cap right in front of me, but on the left side in the middle, there's one character whose name I can't think of. Middle-aged dude, black dude. What's his name? I don't think he's had a lot of lines. You know what I'm talking about? He's the only character in the whole church.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
I'm looking around the panel.
I'm joking.
He's saying you're middle-aged.
I'm just saying. And black, apparently.
Oh, really?
You're the social media coordinator. I was going to see if you could get the chat going.
Listen, I'm getting this chat going. Keep going. I'm sorry.
I'm
joking.
If somebody in the chat can tell me who I'm talking about, I've seen his face before.
Yeah.
He's one of the background characters, and he was the only character in the church I noticed who was like, okay, you're not someone who normally has lines, and I can't think what his name is.
I can't picture his face. I don't know.
But he was in the church, and so with Morgan,
someone says Scott.
Scott died though, right?
Who was Scott?
I'm reading
Not
just
Scott.
from the chat.
Was Scott Aaron's boo?
No, that's Aaron and
It's not Heath.
Not Heath.
Oh man, see, it takes
No.
6 years.
So many names.
Listen, AMC.
we haven't seen Aaron's boy in a while. His name is
Someone said the bald-headed black guy. We need a name though. We need a name.
That's what I'm
We need a
talking
name.
about though.
No, not season 1, Ep 1.
No.
His name, yeah,
no.
okay.
Yeah. So okay, we're jumping all around here, but
I'm gonna name them by how they look or the episode that they appeared in first. That is
People
their
keep
name.
saying Scott on the chat.
Okay.
I don't know
Sure,
if that's
Scott.
the case, but
I really thought
Scotty.
Scott died, but maybe he's alive. For some reason, I thought Scott got bitten or something like that. Maybe he's alive. But anyway, Morgan is what we're talking about here.
Yes.
So Morgan's opinion is that I want to talk to these people and I don't want to get involved and I want to warn them first. And
Right.
Rick is like,
Give him the option.
we can vote, but you're wrong. So then Morgan slinks off after he has this conversation with Carle. It's really awkward.
Yeah.
And then he's like building something with a he's a
he was
soldering.
well-
It definitely
then.
looks like he's building a prison there to me. It is absolutely the impression because there were also cinder blocks around the door
Yeah.
frame, and then it was like it looked like he was soldering metal, so it has to be like a cage door reminiscent of his interaction with God. We're
Twisty
really,
from American Horror Story.
yeah,
Carnival.
we're
With
really
the
bad
wolf,
at
right?
names.
No, Eastman.
Eastman, yeah.
Yes.
He was Twisty in American Horror Story.
Okay.
Again, I only go back.
If we get too many names wrong, we will get torn apart. We can't get too many.
We've
That's fine.
already hit that point.
Eastman. But I mean, I feel like that was the drama they were creating in this episode, the Morgan versus violence drama, because
Right.
we all knew that, at least all of us who were like, come on, they're not going to meet Negan this episode. So everything was going way too easy. You had to have some kind of conflict, and the conflict, which is always the thing, is Morgan versus violence, which I, for one, am getting a little tired of.
Totally tired of.
Same here.
Because I'm like, come on.
Like, you're in this world. Like,
Yeah.
deal with it the way everyone else is dealing with it. Like, you need to at this point. He needs to change his perspective and the way he does things at this point.
Yeah, and in that conversation in the church, it felt like it was three conversations happening because it was Rick's perspective, then Morgan's perspective, and then Aaron being the one originally from Alexandria. It felt like he was still the person representing the opinion of Alexandria. So it was like it was a 2-to-1 scenario.
That's a good point.
I mean, I thought that was really interesting that Rosita then approached Carle about it, so I almost stood up and called him out. It's like, okay, why aren't you standing up and calling him out? Or why isn't Carle like, look, this guy clearly doesn't have the stomach for what we're trying to do here. And even though it does seem like Carol's having a little bit of a crisis of faith with the way they do things, she seems like she's struggling. You know, she's adjusted. She's fully become like a wolf, not like the wolves, but she's become like a total killer.
Yeah.
The whole cookies thing was clearly her being like, okay, I kind of like being a person again. Now we're gonna have to go and get blood all over our hands.
So
But I
she's
love
still a
that
wolf in
scene.
sheep's clothing.
That scene of the, I mean, you've got happy music playing, she's making cookies, then she
Yeah.
goes out in her white outfit and gets blood all over. I mean, it's just, they're just so good at symbolism on the show.
Yeah.
They always
Yeah.
have been, and that's such a great poetic scene.
And it was one of the bloodiest Walker kills too. Like
Yeah.
that thing sprayed all over her when she did the kill.
Ew.
That's, you get an ew to that, but not the last half of this episode.
Oh my god, did you not see me
With the
while we were
squelching?
watching?
Yes.
So much squelching.
Did you not see me? I can't handle this stuff.
And it was all off camera, too. It was the most violent episode you were saying, I think.
The
was-
most violent episode I've ever seen.
And none of it was on camera.
So okay, but
It
why?
was the idea
Yeah.
of
Oh my
what
god.
they were doing that made
Squelch.
it so. But it was like, we know that they've never killed anyone blindly.
Right.
I mean,
I mean, it
How
was
do I
it was
say it?
it was a murder.
they were
Yeah.
literally murdering people. Like
Yep.
it wasn't like
In their
they were
sleep.
being
In
provoked.
their sleep, by
they
the
weren't
way.
being provoked. They were doing it in their sleep. It was something that though a lot of them have killed humans, like live humans
Sure.
before, like it was never in this nature, and that's what made it so.
Yeah, it was very
terrible.
cold-blooded.
Yeah.
And for the people who are watching, the reason we keep saying squelch is on closed caption. That was the sound effect noise that
Squelch.
just kept popping up on our
Sharp
screens.
breath, squelch.
True story. I play a lot of Magic the Gathering, and there's a card called
Yeah.
Squelch.
Different.
Every time Squelch would happen on screen, it was a little picture of a goblin, and he's like riding something metal, I think. So every time Squelch, it would pop in my head.
I love that you took something nerdy like The Walking
Right.
Dead and made it nerdier.
Yeah, I can do that.
That's good.
I'm capable. It is Scott. I was.
Yeah.
Scott,
Jeez.
listen. The consensus on social media is that it's Scott. So
Okay.
we're gonna go with
I
Scott.
checked. Yeah, it's definitely Scott.
He confirmed it.
Scott was hurt at one point, I think, when they got back
That's
from the
what
trip.
the social media says, but
Oh yeah, he was in
Still.
the infirmary.
Infirmary. So
Yeah,
for some
it was
reason in my
infirmary.
mind he had passed away.
Because you're a bad person.
But I
He got
can't
better.
remember.
it's
Yeah,
okay. We're gonna go with the social media.
Yeah, I'm still wishing that we could remember exactly Aaron's boyfriend. He's alive. He's 100% alive.
Yes.
I think he's alive.
He didn't die, and he's very rarely in episodes. They'll show him in the background of episodes, but he's not on camera very much.
No.
Don't worry. Tomorrow in the comments, it will appear 50 times.
Yeah.
We'll find it tomorrow.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll figure it out.
Here's what I don't know with Morgan. Why does anybody in that town feel like they owe Morgan anything?
I think it's because he's got the Rick bump. I think it's because he's Rick's boy. Rick was the one that vouched for him, and don't cross Rick.
You really?
I can see that.
I think so.
But you don't think Rick would just disagree with him or like not take his side?
I think because he was the first person to save Rick's life when the world changed. I think that he owes something undeniable to Morgan.
Yeah.
I think he'll never back down on it.
Here's the thing: at the end of the day, no matter what you say about Rick, he's a dedicated person to his team and to the people that he loves.
That's true.
And I think that he loves Morgan no matter what. You know,
except when he expelled Carle.
that's a different subject.
I also don't think he felt like at that point he owed Carle.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you're right.
But I think the fact
But
that
Rick is still a very dedicated person.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what happens, he still has a in-depth understanding of who his team is, and he always wants to support that. No, you know, and he doesn't want to be seen as a monster, even though it could be argument that he is becoming a monster, but that's a different
But the
subject.
best kind of monster.
Yes.
I love how he only talks in, it seems like, T-shirt phrases now. Like, everything he says is like, this is why we eat.
Oh yeah.
It's just like everything he says is just such a badass statement. It's just so he's just so like tough, and like Daryl's still the best, but he's still just such a badass, or he tries to be a badass. Maybe that's what it is.
Rick?
Yeah.
Oh, Rick's like you said, he's fully becoming a cartoon character.
Yeah.
But I also
Casual
think
badass.
I also think that what they've done with Rick's character is fairly brilliant now, like with the way they've brought him around, because they're like well, I'll save any exposition for the spoiler section at the end because it references the comic books, but it definitely feels like
kill you for saying
what they're doing with Rick is that they are trying to make it like all this craziness, everything he goes through, he is the de facto leader of this group, not just because he tries to be, but because he is the best equipped, because he actually is the best leader, not like he's just put himself in the position to be. And if the world does ever settle, which is like what it sort of feels like they're giving us, like Rick is trying to settle the world now. He's
not Gregory.
Yeah, he's trying to get us away from this idea that we have to run all the time. He's trying to, we can fight, we can stay where we are, we can live. They want to set him up almost as like some sort of political leader of their group. He is the head of it. And so I think it's kind of brilliant that they're making him into this, like, he is a cartoon character, but you believe that he's the leader of the group. You know what I mean? Like, I think he can handle
Based on
anything.
swagger.
Yeah.
Like anything.
Right.
Doesn't matter what happens to him. If Rick loses an eye, he's still the leader of the group. Like,
Hand? Who knows?
Right, exactly. Ridiculous. The boyfriend's name is Eric, by the way.
Aaron and Eric.
Aaron and Eric. But he's not on screen very much. And he's only, I just checked, he's only been 9 episodes.
Yeah.
Weird. And he didn't die?
No.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I really don't think he died in the fight.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, it would have meant too much to actually see him die.
Got it.
So anyway, Morgan is soldering a prison or something like that. We're not really sure. We've worked all this lead up to the crazy part of the episode.
But before they got there, there was one last great moment at the RV, and that was they were going through, and the whole point was make a bunch of noise, get a bunch of walkers, and how do we find the one that looks the most like Gregory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's a pretty great plan.
It's a phenomenal plan, and they are like, oh, that one looks the closest. Trim his hair a little bit, and he's like, no, his nose.
Yeah.
He had a different nose.
I love that
And Rick
scene.
just punches it, and he's like, he broke. I mean,
That's amazing.
He broke your hand.
Plus, you can also take into account a dead face is going to look different than like Gregory's
Yeah.
real
Very true.
face.
Yeah.
It's a real live, filled with blood face.
It was awesome. Yeah.
There were
Yeah,
like
it was a great plan.
3 really interesting phases of the whole episode, which is not usually how they structure these. Usually it's like lots of nothing and then a crazy twist, right? For like a season and a half now, it's been kind of like slow crawl and then what at the very end. This, it felt like the first half was very much like relationshipy. Like I always liken it to all 6 people who've probably seen Buffy. There was an episode before.
Very true. Good point.
The episode before they go to the Hellmouth and they do the fight, everybody's in the house. They're all hooking up. Felicia Day, everybody, right? It's a whole thing. And then they go to battle. That happened. And then you've got this weird kind of like heist type of thing with the synth music happening.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I got this plan. You're going to go over here. I'm going to go over here. You're going to lie to the guy. He's got a broken nose. All this crazy stuff's going to happen. And then just a crazy 80s revenge movie, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It just was awesome.
It works.
Yeah.
But here's my only problem with that scene. There's no cameras or anything on the outside when they're all going into this what was that?
I can't imagine
factory
something
or
as
whatever it was?
convenient as a security system would just be there working.
I don't know.
But I'm saying, wouldn't there be someone on the roof? Would there be a man on the roof? Like, I can't think that there would be no one there to secure this area at all.
So
I'm sorry, I have a problem with that.
Middle of the night, everyone's sleeping. There's 2 security guys that are clearly at watch. Maybe one's on the roof to begin with.
They
come down.
And they thought that they had every other group in check, and they didn't know that Rick's group existed.
Yeah,
so I feel like when they know that when they know where Gregory's group is and like where the hilltop is, that's all they know. So I feel like they felt comfortable and complacent enough to just have 2 people.
Yeah,
and that's like their routine.
I know. Did you guys think that he was going to be like, this isn't Gregory's head? Or you knew they were going to not? They were going to just...
I knew it was a false... Yeah, it was a lead on that he was going to... Oh, okay, good job.
Yeah.
By the way, they love your Buffy reference on the chat.
Good.
By the way, several people are loving your Buffy chat right now.
I have
He's
a
like,
theory.
let me give you some more Buffy references.
All right, let's talk Spike. No, I have a theory about that whole campus that they went to at the very end, because it was way too easy. We've all been trying to figure out since the episode ended why it was so easy.
And no one woke up at
no
all,
one
by the
woke
way.
up. I feel like, and they also kicked down like 2 doors, and there was like agriculture going on.
Right.
I feel like this was like Negan's like farmhouse.
Yeah.
It was like the bare minimum of actual soldiers, the weakest guys. It was just kind of like, I'm gonna make, and like they probably thought that it was a victory, which is a great moment in an episode, right? And it was probably like, oh, that place? No, that was like not. That was like my daycare center.
That's our operating base. There's
nothing.
Not the
it
base.
is the weakest of weak, which is probably it lends to the fact that there was no security. There was 2 guys outside. Everyone was unconscious. Which even at like Alexandria, no, everyone isn't asleep at night.
Right.
Everyone's on edge. Everyone's up. Right.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so they get in there and they pull this move. They get inside, and then it's just straight up like a bunch of us saw London Has Fallen this week for press stuff. It was like watching London Has Fallen for a second. There's just so many bullets, so, like these explosions, like just like breaking down doors, and then juxtaposed against just the most gruesome moments in Walking Dead's history. I think the squelch moments might have been the single most gruesome moments on the show we've seen.
Yeah.
Killing sleeping people that you know nothing about with knives through the brain, like, and none of them screamed, which I thought was a little strange.
None of them screamed.
Well, to their defense, technically they did not show their faces. You know what I mean, in those scenes.
Sure.
But I do not believe that no one would have screamed or notified someone else, or there would have been any noise at all where someone would have been on alert in that scene.
Not only were they sleeping, but they were very heavy sleepers.
Very heavy sleepers.
I'm no scientist, but I feel like once a knife has gone through your brain, like that's it. You have no chance to do anything else.
I was thinking,
I
was just thinking maybe like a scream, like a pain, like a reflex scream. That's what I was assuming. Granted, I'm totally making this up right now, and it's really gross to talk about. But I'm just guessing. Like,
I don't know. The one part from that bothered me was Heath and Glenn going into a room and there were 2 people in there. I'm a light sleeper, and just a light being on, the door opening, that would be enough for me to like turn. And if I see the light open, I would wonder why there was a light on.
Yeah. It's too easy. It was all too easy.
Well, let's talk.
According to Maker Manbat, sorry if I'm screwing up your name, but he says, how would you scream when you just got killed instantly?
Squelch.
You squelch.
Yeah,
you squelch.
I
I guess I was just thinking like the knife is going, like maybe you're, I don't know, never mind.
Some kind of loud death rattle.
I'm just like you're a reactive like sound enough to wake the other guy up.
Yeah.
All right, but so they're in the room, and after they've squelched these guys, Glenn looks over and he sees a series of Polaroid pictures on the wall.
Yeah, that was crazy.
There was like about
super freaky.
12 or 13 of these pictures
where
that
brains were splattered.
That was a good moment of foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also it was a moment for us as the audience because this whole episode, this part of the episode kind of made me feel like, okay, they're having trouble realizing that they have to go in and kill people they know nothing about. They're literally murdering these people. They must feel like they have they can't come back from this, or like now they're the bad guys, like they're evil. So those Polaroids were like for us who are probably thinking the same thing, to remind us that like, okay, these guys are also evil. They're also murderers and assholes. So sort of like 2 purposes for
Actually,
me.
I think they're worse than Rick's camp because
of
the fact
course
that
they're worse.
they're taking Polaroids and keeping track of that.
Of course they're worse, but I feel like that was meant for Glenn to be like, okay, it's okay that I'm doing this because they're jerks, and now we're also thinking like, okay, these guys are also irredeemable.
I'm trying to figure out like when Well, actually,
where you get Polaroid film in the apocalypse. Me too. Where do you go? CVS isn't open. That stuff runs out.
Yeah, and those things expire eventually.
It's true.
They don't last too long.
I think one thing I really want to talk about is the total disappointment of Jesus' badass moment.
Yeah.
Where he like literally is like, I got this. No one's gonna hear me. Puts on his Sub-Zero mask
with his hair.
Goes inside. It's like pop. That was it? That was all you did? Like, come on.
You wanted him to run in and do like a cool jump off the walls, take out like 6 guys.
I wanted him to be like Jesus Chan, flying over
pull off
stuff.
like a Tom Cruise in The Last
Jesus
Samurai.
Chan.
6 dudes.
Hashtag Jesus Chan.
Jesus Chan is
or
great.
Ninjesus.
Ninjesus.
One of those extremely well
I think
choreographed.
that's a Lego set.
Ninjesus.
I know, and then he says, "So
Holy
this is the new world,
This
right?"
is the new world.
Which is a cool line. Which is definitely a cool line.
It is.
I like that a lot. And so they get the armory. That's the important thing, though. They actually get to the armory and they find these crazy machine guns and they just take out these people.
They unload on a door. And my only thing is, after that, I still would have shot a few more extras just to be safe.
But that's the one thing that was really interesting is like, because you, as anyone who's ever played any first-person shooter video game, when you have limited ammunition, you count your bullets. You know exactly how many you have. When you're in this world, this apocalypse, and you know exactly how many bullets you have back home on you, you count them, and the moment they cross that threshold and see a pile of bullets, they're like, oh yes, like that's, and then they know they can just lay into the door.
It's a setup for a boss battle.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
true.
Speaking of games, I got very like big Left 4 Dead feels, and where they like came into the safe house or it looked like a safe house and like shut the door real quick.
I was reminded of like with the shooting through the door thing. It reminded me a lot of the thin sliding doors from GoldenEye when you'd play on like 007, where you would have like you'd have the AK-47, which name I can't remember right now, but you would get like 1 box of ammo on the hardest setting. You wouldn't get any more, and you'd have to only shoot like 4 times through the door and knock the guys out. That's what I was thinking. But
no, it really was, and it was a great moment. It was really good. Again, everything is so tense because you're like, who's gonna die? This show kills anybody always.
Yeah.
Like, and no one died.
I know that was like a false sense of security thing. So so they take out the place, they kill everyone, and Michonne's like, I want to know who Negan was. We all knew Negan was not there, right? Like,
of course.
It's just a huge letdown.
That would have been the biggest letdown ever.
Yeah, we would have.
Although I did think when Homie ran out on the motorcycle that it was going to be Negan.
Yeah.
Even though we know who Negan is because us Supernatural fans know who Negan is.
And Watchmen fans.
Fans. Spoiler. Some people don't want to know. So.
Okay,
so I'm not saying too much, but I'm just saying I thought that at that moment we would get a little reveal, which we did not.
See, the reason I didn't think it was him, and this has nothing to do with the comic stuff, but the way he's described is, being such a badass and killing one of the people from Hilltop and everything like that. He's not the type that would run from something.
No.
I feel like he would come out and be like, he would do something impactful, not flee.
Yeah, and also from a writing standpoint, they wouldn't give us that. And also, Nicotero has directed so many of the best episodes of the show. They would never give him such like a huge letdown in another episode that he directed as that. If that was Negan, that would just be a giant letdown. But so this guy who we don't know who he is rides off on Daryl's bike, right?
That's Daryl's bike.
Well, yeah, that's why Daryl was even like, "Where did you get the bike?"
Yeah.
So they hit him. He gets down on the ground, and then we hear on the radio, "We've got your people. Step away from the man. Step away."
I didn't see that coming. I gotta be honest.
No, because Maggie and Carle were off with the RV or the car or whatever it was, truck, just around the corner, and
doing a bad job on lookout apparently.
So now they've been taken captive, and that is where the episode ends. So I don't even know what to make of it.
Oh my god.
We have 4 more left, right?
Yes.
Yep, this was the halfway mark.
And according to the feed here, that Negan will not show up till the last.
That's what it
episode.
seems like.
That's what I would think
saying.
too.
Yeah.
So
producers are keeping us on our toes, though. They have been saying like, you could see him in a week, you could see him in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Just keep watching, please.
I know.
And it's working.
Yeah.
I mean, they're building. I don't know. I sort of. The fact that they went and took down this facility, this episode, like I said, I found a little surprising. But also, it alleviates a little bit of my concern, which is like last week, I was like, how are they going to stretch this out over 5 episodes? Yeah. I don't understand how we're going to get to the Negan moment. It's going to take us 5 more weeks? What are they going to do?
It plays into the ego thing. It's such a mind game because, like I said, like Rick and the gang, they're like, confrontation, that's our game. Like, they've got this.
I agree.
So, like, the fact that they're like, okay, yeah, sure, satellite tower, let's do it. Boom, knocked everybody out. Now what? Like, they're like, wait, no, this was nothing? Like, I feel like they have to keep... Yeah.
So I have to throw this out there. So, according to our feed, that we should throw out an MVP of the night.
Oh, I
so
like that.
All you guys should guess an MVP, and I'm going to say who the winner is according to our feed here. So Ben,
from the episode
tonight. Who would you say is the MVP?
Oh my!
No,
you're
John,
putting me
it's
on
not
this.
about you.
not-
Time. Ben, who's the MVP?
I'm on the spot now. MVP of the episode has got to be... Somebody else go first.
Glenn.
Oh, damn it.
I was gonna say Glenn.
You're going to say
too.
Glenn?
I'm gonna go with
John
Glenn.
saying Glenn.
Glenn.
Jesus.
Yeah, I go Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so Father Gabriel has won tonight for MVP. And you know what? I'm going to admit that's the truth.
That's only
because
because-
I was a hater on Father Gabriel
He's
for
a little more likely
for
now.
so
Finally.
many episodes.
Finally.
But you know what? Finally, he
Yeah.
freaking stepped up.
No. This is why if we have to pick an MVP, I'm gonna pick Glenn because Glenn's whole thing was knowing that Heath had not killed somebody.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between killing somebody in self-defense, which is what happened when the gunfight was happening, versus killing somebody in cold blood.
Yeah.
And Glenn took that bullet for him.
Right, and also, well, yeah.
Well, sort of.
He's become slightly more likable now. I mean, that's all that we have to about
The two are Gabriel or Rick, and I'm going to go with Gabriel.
Rick's
I'd
had
say
enough
between
MVPs.
those two, I would choose
would-
Father Gabriel, but I agree with you 100%, John. Like Glenn for sure.
Rick is
Real MVP.
he's omnipotent. Like Rick is just gonna be. He's
Yeah.
gonna be what he's gonna be. He has to get knocked down a peg. Like he's untouchable right now.
He's Michael Jordan. So
He's Michael.
eventually
Well,
you
according
have to
to
let other people
Tanya
do
R,
stuff.
he's Gangsta Gabriel.
Gangsta Gabriel.
Gangsta Gabriel. What?
I was gonna
GG.
say like Rick is like Tom Brady and like Father Gabriel is like Michael Vick in 2010 when he had that one really good season and he kind of reworked his public image a little
Yeah,
bit and like
yeah.
some people started to like him again. That's kind of like what we got with Gabriel, but who knows how long it's gonna last?
Please give him a dog in a future episode now.
No. Okay.
Is he in the top 5 killable or top 5 unkillable? Father Gabriel.
Oh, he's like sort of neutral to me. If he died, it would just be a whatever
He's,
moment.
in the middle.
Yeah.
He's not in either
He's
of
kind of had a
those.
pretty good
I want to see more
journey.
from him now that we've seen him grow a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I want to see that continue for
I
a while
still want
before
him
he
to die.
dies.
I want him to die, but he's manned up a little bit more than what in the past.
The fact that they're developing a bunch of secondary characters for us now, it's two things. I see one is that they're managing our expectations of the way that they usually do this, which is where, like you said, if they give us a bit more screen time with a character or a new relationship, it usually spells doom for someone, but they know that. So they're giving us a lot of them now. They're developing a lot of characters at the same time and giving us a lot of people, so you don't really know who to think is going to go.
Right.
I see that as one. I see the second is that I think they're going to kill 3 to 5 people by the end of the season, and they're going to need to fill some shoes. So if we are a bit more familiar with Gabriel, if Tobin has stepped up a bit more, if Sasha and Abraham become the relationship instead of Rosita, I think you have a little more space of who you can take out.
Sure.
Because if Hilltop does become a part of this and we meet a whole new group of
Yeah,
villains,
you have to get new people.
Yeah.
I don't think we could do that anymore. I think this is the new plot device to introducing characters. It's a slow roll. It's Jesus for a couple weeks, then it's the new guy who helped get them back into Negan's camp for a couple weeks. I feel like the last time we've even done that, aside from Alexandria, was that bus trip, and like I think it was the end of season 2.
Yeah.
it was just they literally dumped off a bus of people and like, well, this is the new cast for this.
Yep,
Like,
right.
this is
There
like-
you
it was
go.
just kind of like,
And we met none of them.
yeah, exactly.
Well, okay, so speaking of who we think is going to die, I think we should probably move into predictions.
Yeah.
Right?
Do that.
Yeah.
And now,
Oh, yeah, I
your
forgot to warn you
AfterBuzz
about that.
TV.
Yeah.
It's a light show.
Don't be startled.
It's a rave.
Is that why the pacifiers are down here?
All right, predictions. I predict that the capturing of Maggie and Carle will result in nothing major. I think they will get them back fairly quickly. There'll be a trade. All that it is a plot device to further what eventually is going to happen, which is a massacre ending at the end of the season.
I think the capture of Maggie results in a 1-for-1 trade, and that's when Glenn takes the hit at the end of the season.
Oh, you think right there they trade back and then Glenn just dies?
I think the option is I'm going to kill this girl, and Glenn steps up and say, do not kill her, kill me instead, and that's why Glenn gets it.
Oh, it's more noble than... Oh, spoiler! Sorry.
It's prediction. It's not spoiler.
Oh, really?
I mean,
I feel like
prediction.
it's so hard to do predictions without spoilers.
Yeah, it's a spoiler.
Well, we've been saying it every week.
No, I think we should do the spoiler real quick just so we can do predictions honestly. Because I think if we don't,
There we go. Can we get
alert.
some spoiler music?
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
all right, perfect.
Spoiler alert.
We have more times.
All right.
We have
Joyce.
all been predicting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Glenn's gonna get it. I don't see.
You think Glenn over Derrial?
I honestly think both are dying somehow, but I think the capture of Maggie is giving you the plot device for how Glenn gets it.
Because what I was gonna say is in the comics, it's not quite that noble.
No.
This would make sense for television if Glenn sacrificed himself to save Maggie,
Yeah.
as opposed to in the comics where it's just like Negan's just like, I'm just gonna kill someone.
Especially after
that
what
guy.
we've seen Glenn go through tonight.
Yeah. I think
They're like, why are you even out
I
here?
feel like
And he
this
was
capture
right.
of Carol and Maggie is such a nothing. Like when they had the reveal of the people that kidnapped them, and they even show us scenes to next week, and it's just like 2 ladies in the woods. Like I don't think that's the rest of Negan's camp. I would love if they continued this trend of having this like false sense of bravado and false sense of victory up until the end, where it's like you've actually done nothing, and boom, kill 2-3 major characters. That's what I want. That is classic Walking Dead.
3 major characters dead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 3 people, not in any order, but before the season's over. I'm gonna go with Aaron. I think Aaron's gonna die.
All right.
I'm gonna go with Morgan, and I'm gonna go with Derrial.
You think Glenn's alive?
I think Glenn's alive. I think Glenn. I think we think Glenn should die, but he's not gonna die.
The most obvious character shift would just be move Derrial into the Glenn role and have Derrial get his head bashed. If you were gonna do that.
Daryl, Glenn, Tobin.
But I feel like you're right. Like the whole Maggie being captured thing just makes it that much easier to feel to think that Glenn is going to be next to go.
But he's not. He has to see his child born.
Well, no, because then that also gives Maggie a lot of like, obviously, like she's going to be distraught over Glenn's death.
But we're not going to do part 2 on that though. We've already seen her upset
but
over
this
his
baby,
absence.
like we said earlier, is going to be hope. So it'll give her a reason to feel better.
I think
Better about the
literally call it
situation,
Hope.
but like it'll be better a little bit.
Right.
They need to literally call the baby Hope, because I feel like they tried that with Judith. Like, we should call her Hope. And they're like, shut up, it's Judith.
Like Maggie
did that
will
in the
have
episode.
no other pillar but this child to like lean against.
They did that in the X-Men, and it worked so well.
Well, if you're listening to the chat right now or typing on the chat, please let us know your predictions, because I'd like to recite them before we leave the show.
All right. Well, let's
quickly.
So let's do our sign-offs, and then after our sign-offs, we'll throw a couple of fan predictions out.
Sure.
Matt Raub, where can the folks find you?
You can look for me on YouTube at on YouTube on the Unpopular Kids. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Insta, all the things. Tinder?
Really?
Sure.
Can I search for you on Tinder?
Yeah, I think so.
Make sure to
Just look
swipe.
up Amy Schumer.
What is it? Swipe left?
Swipe up, down,
Oh, it's up and
up,
down.
down,
now?
back and forth. You just do this, and then it's the religious Tinder.
So
It's at Matt Raub, MATTRAUB, on all social media.
you guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at Joyce Ajouri, and I will be on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast this Tuesday, which comes back. I'm so excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
You can find me at the John Carle on Twitter and Instagram. I don't do Snapchat.
You're not
Sorry.
the only John Carle.
I'm
There's
the
others.
John Carle. No, because there's a John Carle who took that name and he won't give the damn thing up.
Find him.
And also on YouTube, YouTube on Whiskey and Waffles. And I just had a small stroke.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
You guys can find me at Ben Bateman Media on Twitter and Instagram. I don't have Snapchat. I do I do an action movie podcast here at the same studio for Popcorn Talk called Action Movie Anatomy. We're covering London Has Fallen this week. A whole hilarious breakdown of it. So tune in for that at 3 o'clock on Wednesday. Derrial, our brand new social media coordinator.
I love this job. This is my favorite job of this show.
It's the most comfortable.
Where can folks find you?
And I have a great couch. So the person who asked me why I'm not sitting on the panel, I will tell you, because I wanted to sit on the couch.
Yeah.
So that's why. You can find me at Derrial Christon on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And I want to read a couple of the predictions
please do.
that people are saying. So they're saying Daryl, Carol, and Glenn will die next. Glenn, Tara, and Carol.
Carol.
I still live by Carol.
Let's see here. This is
Good
Steve
people
says
understand
Glenn,
what I'm
Glenn.
Right.
He said it Glenn 3 times.
Wow.
Wow. So Carol, Candy Perez said Daryl, Glenn, Tara, Rosita. And Chris Mayer said Carol, Morgan, Glenn, and Heath.
Everyone wants Carol.
Everybody, but
Carol.
Glenn is the consensus, though. I'm just saying, out of all those that I read, Glenn is in every one.
Like, what if the situation arises next week where it's like they got to choose between Carol or Maggie, and like something happens where they choose Maggie and then they get rid of Carol, and then
She goes back
they have
later.
to trade Glenn for Maggie. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's gonna be someone's gonna have to choose.
Carol dying sounds
between
like a
people.
stretch to me. That's just my. That's
Carol's
me personally.
not dying. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's no
she's
way.
not. She's too prominent.
If
Right
I'm right next week,
Yeah.
But I will say, comic book
Then we
barring,
riot.
if they kill Glenn, it has to be the most violent and on-screen death.
It will because they killed him once fake already.
Right.
So they're not going to do it again unless it's the
Yeah.
real thing.
Yeah.
And you see every bit of eye-popping good
Matter.
stuff. Anyway,
Lots of
that's
gray matter.
gonna do it for the episode today.
Yeah.
Tune back in, same time, same place. Next week we have 4 more episodes of this, and we go directly into Fear the Walking Dead at the same time on the same network, and I think I'll be on the same show. So
Cool.
if you guys want to do that as well, stick around. But we will see you next week, same time, same place. Thanks for hanging out, guys. This was fun.
Bye, guys.
See you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
We had 300 watching.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV